Most people think they know Bangladesh, a deeply religious Muslim country shaped by prayer, calls echoing through crowded streets, families packed into tiny homes, and old men sipping tea from chipped glasses on street corners. It's poor, yes, but modest, respectable, and conservative, a place where religion is law and shame keeps people in line. But there's another Bangladesh, one that hides behind those mosques and prayer caps, one that doesn't get talked about at family dinners, or in newspapers, or even in school textbooks. This is a country where prostitution is legal, and sometimes even protected, in the same breath that a woman can be punished for showing her hair. It sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. It's survival. Tucked away in the shadows of this system is a place called Daulatia, the largest brothel in Bangladesh. But call it what it is, a city built on debt, silence, and bodies for rent. Over 9,200 women live here, most of them crammed into small rooms with peeling walls and no doors, just thin fabric curtains that sway like open secrets. At night, the red lights above the doorways flicker on, and that's when the real business begins. Men walk down the narrow alleys like it's a supermarket. They glance, point, and pick. Sometimes it's locals, sometimes foreigners, sometimes men who just prayed at the mosque hours earlier. And the girls? Most didn't choose this life. Some were sold, others were tricked. Many were born here, the daughters of sex workers. And now it's just their turn. It's not a job, it's a generational trap. They don't talk much. They don't smile unless they were working. They know the rules. Be quiet, be available, be quick, and most importantly, never expect to leave. But here's what makes it even worse. Some of the girls are barely teenagers, too thin, too young, too obviously not ready. But that doesn't matter in Daulatia. What matters is looking developed. So they're given Orodaxin, a steroid used to fatten livestock. It adds weight fast, hips round out, cheeks puff up, and suddenly a 13-year-old looks like a 17-year-old, to the untrained eye at least. Doctors say it damages the kidneys, kills people slowly. But in these alleys, no one listens. They just see money. And that's the real story here. You might think this is about sex, but it's not. It's about debt. Most girls owe someone. The brothel owner, the woman who helped them settle in, the local madam who bought her freedom and now collects rent, even her own mother, in some cases, who's trying to retire and survive off her daughter's body. Every bowl of rice, every sanitary pad, every painkiller gets added to the tab. So when a man comes to the curtain and says, "How much?" the answer isn't about pleasure. It's about paying off what she owes. And the truth? That debt never goes away. Even the curtain hanging in front of her room has a price. She pays to pretend she has privacy. And the government? They know. So do the police. So do the religious leaders. But no one stops it, because no one wants to take responsibility for the parts of the country that make people uncomfortable. That's how Daulatia survives. Because in Bangladesh, a country where holding hands before marriage is frowned upon, there's a town where virginity, youth, and desperation are sold daily. And not just sold, taxed, monitored, and regulated. It's not just the largest brothel in the country. It's a symbol of everything no one wants to say out loud. In Bangladesh, marriage isn't always about love. Sometimes it's about math. A quiet calculation done in whispers between parents over dinner. One less mouth to feed, one more burden off the family's back. And the younger the bride, the cheaper the deal. In dusty villages and crowded urban blocks, girls as young as 12 or 13 are married off. Not because they're ready, not because they understand what's happening, but because they cost less. It's called a dowry, a gift from the bride's family to the groom. But it's really a price tag. If she's young, pretty, obedient, the payment is smaller. If she's older, educated, or has a strong opinion, the price goes up. And so does the pressure to marry her off before it's too late. That's why over 50% of girls in Bangladesh are married before they turn 18, and nearly 1/3 are married before 15. School books are replaced by diapers. Crushes become husbands. Childhoods evaporate. In most countries, it would be a scandal. In Bangladesh, it's tradition. A broken one, but still tradition. And here's the darker part. If the dowry isn't paid in full, or if the groom's family decides they want more later, the girl suffers. Verbal abuse, beatings, sometimes worse. There are stories of girls being burned. Others were poisoned. Some just vanish. In cities like Khulna and Rajshahi, local clinics see young brides arrive with bruises they won't explain. Midwives whisper that many miscarriages come from fists, not biology. But no one files a report. No one knocks on the groom's door. Because everyone knows how the system works, and no one wants to be the one to challenge it. And yet, the girl still smiles in her wedding photo, because she's told she should be grateful that a man agreed to take her, that she has a future now, even if that future ends in a one-room hut with a man twice her age, demanding dinner and obedience in equal measure. There's another cruel twist. In many families, boys are investments. Girls are liabilities. That's why families often marry daughters off early, to avoid paying a big dowry later and to shift the financial burden onto someone else. But here's the thing. It doesn't end with the wedding. Girls who become brides at 14 often become mothers by 15 and sometimes widows by 20. And in some rural areas, if she's widowed and her dowry debt isn't settled, the husband's family can take her children or even marry her off again, like passing around a debt receipt. This isn't a broken love story. It's an economic transaction wrapped in wedding garlands. Some NGOs try to intervene. They run programs teaching girls their rights. They offer small scholarships to keep them in school. They even fund legal aid to stop child marriages before they happen. But it's not enough, because as long as poverty exists, girls will continue being sold, not on paper, but with henna on their hands and tears in their eyes. This is the part of Bangladesh that the brochures will never show. A country where little girls dream in silence while mothers count coins and fathers say things like, "It's better this way." Because when a bride is just 13, the wedding isn't the beginning of something new. It's the end of everything she was supposed to have. It's not just women being sold in Bangladesh. Sometimes it's the system itself that sells tradition disguised as culture. In a quiet part of the country, deep in the Chittagong hill tracts, there's a tribe called the Marma. They live in small bamboo homes, surrounded by forest, far from the noise of Dhaka. On the surface, it looks peaceful. But beneath that calm lies a practice that sounds like it belongs to another century, polyandry. But not the type you think. When a Marma woman becomes a widow and wants to remarry, there's a rule. She must choose a man from her late husband's tribe, but not just any man. He must be young, unmarried. And once she does, there's an exchange, something that makes this tradition far more disturbing. To balance the age gap, the woman offers one of her own daughters to marry him too. 2 wives, 1 family, mother and daughter, now sharing the same man. In the Marma belief system, this has a purpose. The younger wife, usually just a teenager, helps produce more children. She's expected to take care of the family, keep the lineage strong, and eventually take over the household when the older wife, her own mother, passes away. It's seen as a cycle, efficient, cultural. But for the girls, it's something else entirely. There's no choice in it, no freedom, no love story. And the mother? She's not always the villain. Many of them were forced into the same system when they were young. Now they're just passing down what was done to them, believing it's their daughter's duty to keep the family together. Not everyone in the tribe agrees with this anymore. Quiet resistance is growing. Some women have started speaking out, saying the tradition is unfair, that it steals girlhood and replaces it with obedience. Human rights groups have begun listening too. Campaigns have popped up to educate families, to introduce consent into conversations that never used to have room for it. But change is slow. The elders still have the final word in most villages. And when a tradition is wrapped in the language of family and honor, it's hard to call it abuse, even when it clearly is. In cities like Dhaka or Sylhet, These stories sound like folklore, but they're not. They're real, and they're still happening. In the corners of Bangladesh, where modern laws don't always reach, culture still writes the rules, and not everyone is allowed to question them. Because in a place where a daughter can become her stepfather's second wife, the line between heritage and harm becomes dangerously easy to ignore. Now step into Dhaka, the capital, the chaos, the contradiction. It's one of the most densely packed cities on earth, where the streets throb with the sound of rickshaws, horns, vendors yelling over each other, and engines that never seem to rest. But tucked inside this noise, behind crumbling concrete walls and flickering neon signs, there's another kind of city that almost no one talks about. Welcome to Kandapara, Bangladesh's oldest and most infamous red light district. At first glance, it doesn't look like much. A few narrow alleys, tin roof shacks, clothes hanging between buildings like tired flags. But inside, more than 1,000 women live and work in silence, many of them never choosing this life in the first place. They were sold, abandoned, or tricked. Some were just children when they arrived, and to make them look older, more desirable, they're fed Orodexon, a steroid meant for livestock. It helps them gain weight quickly, filling out their bodies before they're even ready to understand what's happening to them. Health workers warn about the dangers: kidney damage, heart failure, early death. But the drug keeps flowing, because for some brothel owners, a girl who looks mature brings more money than one who actually is. It's not just a business, it's a machine. The girls sleep in rooms no bigger than closets, a thin mattress, a curtain for a door, a fan, if they're lucky. They see clients 7, 8, sometimes 10 times a day. The money? Most of it doesn't go to them. It goes to the madam, to the landlord, to the dealers selling the drugs that keep them going. And yet, the place is legal. Prostitution is allowed under Bangladeshi law if the woman is over 18 and consents. But ask anyone inside Kandapara how many of them had a real choice. The silence will tell you everything. Still, the government looks the other way. It's too complicated, too messy, too rooted in poverty, in politics, in shame. And so, NGOs step in. Women's shelters, mobile clinics, volunteer teachers. They hand out medicine. They offer counseling. They try to teach children born in the brothel that life can be different. But it's an uphill battle, because the cycle doesn't break easily, not when you're born into it. Some girls escape. They find work in garment factories. They marry clients. They disappear into another life. But many don't, because once you're marked as a sex worker in Bangladesh, society rarely gives you a second chance. Outside Kandapara, the world keeps spinning. Traffic, business meetings, university lectures. Inside, time moves differently. Girls become women before their bodies are ready. Dreams get traded for survival, and no one really talks about it. Because when your body becomes your currency, your silence becomes the price. When outsiders visit Bangladesh, they're often struck by how tight-knit everything feels. Families eat together, neighbors share their sugar, weddings turn into block parties. On the surface, it looks like a country held together by faith, food, and festivity. But underneath that harmony lies a quieter tension, one that rarely makes it into travel blogs. It starts with something simple: the money sent home. One Bangladeshi leaves to work in the Gulf, then another, then a cousin. Before long, nearly every neighborhood has someone abroad. In fact, over 10 million Bangladeshis work overseas, most as laborers in countries like Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and the UAE. They send money back, a lot of it. Remittances make up more than 6% of the country's GDP, but those dollars come with a cost, a very human one. Because when a man leaves to earn abroad, his entire family starts depending on him. Parents, siblings, aunts, nieces, everyone waits for that monthly transfer. It's called Baira Taka, outside money. And soon, it's no longer a gift, it's an expectation, a duty, a burden. That's what locals quietly call the family tax. One man might be feeding 12 mouths, paying for school fees, hospital bills, weddings, even dowries. If he misses a payment, he's not just broke. He's blamed, shamed, sometimes even disowned. And when he finally comes back home after years of sacrifice, he's treated like a guest in his own house. The money changed everything, including him. This pressure doesn't just land on men. It reshapes families. Wives left behind often live like single mothers. Children grow up with absent fathers. And mothers, they become accountants, collecting from sons like they're managing payroll. Religion teaches patience, culture teaches duty, but reality teaches survival. And so, the cycle continues. A young man grows up watching his uncle build the house, his cousin buy the fridge, all with Gulf money. So he signs up too, forgets his dreams, boards a flight, and begins the same story all over again. Because in Bangladesh, sacrifice isn't always celebrated. Sometimes it's just expected. You've just seen a side of Bangladesh that no tour guide will ever mention. Quiet deals, the heavy traditions, the prices people pay just to survive or escape. If this opened your eyes, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and share this with someone who still thinks Bangladesh is just rice fields and rickshaws. We'll keep showing you the truth, the part no one talks about. See you in the next one.